Hi, this is Tamara from Fashion Roundtable. I'm here with John McNally from the SNP. He's a Member of Parliament. Where's your constituency, John?
My constituency is between Edinburgh and Glasgow and Falkirk, where we have the world famous kelpies, the giant horses' heads. We have them, and we have the world's only rotating wheel which connects two canals. So you bring your boat on, sitting there, and then it goes down there, and another one comes up, and it's an absolutely fabulous place to go and visit.
Well, I am quite tempted. I did a price comparison of what I could buy a 3-bedroom house in my area if I wanted to get somewhere, and I could buy a castle near St Andrews. And I was quite tempted because obviously you've got free universities, and like London, you're a Remainer country. So this is drawing on thoughts on Brexit. The SNP have consistently voted against Brexit, the Brexit votes in Houses of Parliament. How does it feel as a Scottish person living in a United Kingdom that is voting against policies that will damage your economy? I mean, that must be really difficult.
Well, the impact, I think, will be seen sooner rather than later. And of course, in a country the size of Scotland of 5.5 million, and England being the size it is with the numerical superiority, will dominate us. But I think the country as a whole, without going too much into the political structure of things, we're now into a sort of disunited kingdom. It's very interesting to notice that Andy Burnham, the Manchester mayor, and various other mayors are looking to have more say in their own affairs, and I think that was the way to go. I would believe in an independent Scotland, obviously, but quite happy to work with everybody else. We have to look after our own businesses. I've got a lot of local businesses in my own area. Innis in particular, a big, huge chemical industry adjacent to my constituency. A lot of people depending on these jobs and these works that have been there for a long while. We're going to have to move from that petrochemical industry and to make a just transition into the renewable industry. So there's all sorts of things we'll have to look at. And one of these Tamara, would be buying into the integrated European grid system, electricity supply system. So we have a vast resource of renewable energy in Scotland. I would like to be part of that, exported that into the rest of Europe. How Brexit is going to affect this is a big concern. How does it affect one of our biggest businesses in my own town of Denny is Nathan's, who are a recycler of garments, who recycle the goods all over the world, particularly to Africa, and how is that going to be affected by Brexit and the tariffs? Then you have the whole supply chain that's involved in that. So you have lorries, businesses, railroads coming in. For example, again, I was down at Forth Ports, who own Tilbury Docks in London, and Grangemouth. They probably supply the world on seed potatoes. They've got these things called reefers that sit on the dockside. These are refrigerated cabinets, thousands and thousands of these cabinets containing seed potatoes that go all over the world, to Africa, South America, Australia. I don't know what's going to happen because they're all going to end up paying tariffs on every single container. So they're talking roughly about 35%. I think the biggest thing to say is that there's absolutely no certainty what's going to happen in the next month. And if you're a business person of any shape, size, small, medium enterprise, or bigger, you're going to have a problem negotiating your way through this.
Not only that, we've also had a lockdown and a pandemic, which has been really difficult for businesses to survive. So we've had the, low-level anxiety about Brexit for 4 years, but we've had the high-level anxiety of furloughing staff and running a business when you don't know what the landscape's like. I mean,
you have no idea what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Here we are sitting 3 weeks away. People still wondering what forms do we have to fill in. Have we got forms to fill in? How are we going to get our loads to the ferry terminal to take stuff away and to bring stuff back in? It's the whole mess.
Yeah, and if you had a message for people who are watching this, what would you suggest that they do? Other than move to Scotland?
Well, I think one of the better things that's happened during lockdown is people have shopped more locally.
Yeah.
I think they've recycled things a bit better locally. I noticed that even this week, just the local food supply chains in particular, people are shopping more locally in there. But long term, I have no idea what's going to happen. I don't think anybody can actually predict this.
No.
And you have got people that I listen to the money programme every morning at 5 o'clock. Every day's the same thing. I heard some really good people on this morning talking about, and one's a big, huge jewellery chain, uncertainty in that. And then a very small business saying, we don't know what's happening. And then they had a guy that produces langoustines from the Western Isles of Scotland. They've got fish to move, fresh fish to move, or the langoustines to move. They've only got a finite space in which to get these things, live fish from one side to Boulogne and the other. And if they don't get them there, they don't get paid.
Right.
That's all small communities. All small communities. And that just seems to be a foot in the back burner. So I don't know what's going to happen. I don't think anybody really knows until it actually starts to kick in. But I think without doubt the cost of living is going to go up.
Well, thank you for that voice of optimism there, John.
You're welcome to move to Scotland, by the way.
Yeah, other than move to Scotland to a castle, thank you very much.
Across the road.
I'm sure you've got plenty nice castles up the road, John, and a nice hair salon. If you've got any questions, please email admin@fashionroundtable.co.uk. Thank you.